We approach this question, should I have kids? Should I be a mom? So selfishly. But as a believer, I don't believe I'm here for my own purpose. I really believe I'm here to further God's kingdom, and I'm here to lay my life down, and I can't think of a better way to do that than in motherhood. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela and I talk about all things motherhood from a Christian perspective, from the perspective that motherhood is a gift and a high calling and a great opportunity for ministry in your own home. So I'm going to try to talk really fast because I have 3 kids in their beds right now and one of them is bound to wake up any minute. This is a bit of a different kind of video, but I wanted to share my motherhood story with you, how I got into this whole thing, because I consider myself a bit of an unlikely mom. I was someone who for a long time didn't want biological kids, especially when my husband and I were first married. Life was good and fun and, we had lots of time for each other. I was really into that. I really wanted a career and I really wanted a bit of an unconventional life. I thought maybe we would foster or adopt eventually, but first I wanted to really, do ministry or make a bunch of money or something. I was really searching for fulfillment and I was searching for ministry opportunities, and motherhood was the last place I thought to look. And I thought birth was gross. That made it even easier to think about not doing that whole thing. During 2020, like I'm sure many of you, I was very anxious and depressed. I was kind of at a new all-time low. It was bad, and I think I didn't even realize at the time just how depressed I was. It's only now looking back and knowing how I feel now that I see just how bad things were then. But I was not okay. I was having a lot of angry outbursts, just feeling really low, a lot of social anxiety and all that stuff. And more than ever, I just felt really unfulfilled in my life. I would say I've always had a relationship with God, but at that point, He really wasn't my main priority. Then God really changed my heart around motherhood. And looking back, I can see how it happened gradually, but it felt very much like an all at once overnight epiphany. Throughout that year, a few things happened. We did apply to become foster parents, even though we were, 22 at the time. And we were rejected, not because of our age, which I thought would happen, but because of where we were living at the time. Our apartment just wasn't suitable. We got kittens, and I found a lot of fulfillment in waking up every morning to get them their food and kind of nurturing them. And I started to learn that birth wasn't as scary as I had initially thought, and that it could happen in a peaceful place on my own terms, that it could happen at home. So all of those things were kind of planting little and just starting to change my heart. One night we had some friends over, and not gonna lie, we were pretty intoxicated. I just remember crying to them about how sad I was and how unfulfilled I was in my life. And it was winter at the time, and I always just had an extra hard time mentally in the winter. So I just remember crying and just feeling like I was hitting a new low. I couldn't sleep that night for some reason, and once the effects of the alcohol started to wear off, I remember just getting up and taking a bath because I needed something to do. And I was just in the bath praying and crying out to God, asking all kinds of questions like, why am I even on this earth? What are you doing? What do you want me to do with my life? And I remember really praying and begging for a ministry opportunity and for an opportunity to really lay my life down, to stop being so selfish and living for myself, but to actually live God's way and give my life in service to Him. And in that moment, something really shifted in me, and suddenly I became open to the idea of having kids. I still really wanted to pursue foster care, but I realized we could still pursue that. We could still try to move somewhere different and foster, and we could also pursue having a biological family. So pretty much immediately the next day, I don't even remember the conversation, but I talked to my husband and he was very much on board. He had always wanted biological kids more than I did, I guess, and was willing to let go of that dream for me. And basically I was pregnant the next month. That first pregnancy was a chemical pregnancy, which basically means a very early loss, around 5 weeks. And that left me feeling obviously very confused. It was my first time ever getting a positive pregnancy test. So I had to go down a rabbit hole online trying to figure out, was that a real baby? What just happened? Was I pregnant? Why am I not pregnant? But the one thing that chemical pregnancy really did was solidify that desire in me and that calling that I believe God placed on my life to be a mom and have biological children. Got a little sidekick here now. The chemical pregnancy happened, and then I want you to know I don't take this lightly that it happened this quickly for us. The very next month, I got pregnant with our oldest child. And of course, I had a ton of huge emotions during that first pregnancy because Even though it was a planned pregnancy, it happened so quickly after my change of heart. I was just thankful that pregnancy is so long because it gave me a lot of time to really prepare my mind and heart and pray into it and prepare myself for this important role of mother. So often we approach this question, should I have kids? Should I be a mom? We approach that question so selfishly. And to some extent, if you don't know Jesus, that absolutely makes sense. You are thinking about your one life to live. But as a believer, I don't believe I'm here for my own purpose. I don't believe this life is the end, and I don't believe I'm on earth to have fun and make a lot of money and have a bunch of leisure time or something like that. I really believe I'm here to further God's kingdom, and I'm here to lay my life down, and I can't think of a better way to do that than in motherhood and in serving these precious little people that He has given me. My faith in God changed how I approach the should we have kids question. It changes how I approach the should we have more kids question. And it changes absolutely everything about my thoughts and feelings around motherhood and how I interact with my children. We all say raising our kids is the most important work that we can be doing, but I really believe it's the gospel. It's our belief in Jesus and furthering His kingdom that truly changes our hearts and what we believe about motherhood. I've watched a lot of motherhood content and a lot of secular motherhood content, and we can learn a lot from other mothers and even mothers who don't know Jesus. But I think a lot of our messaging around motherhood is really missing that piece of the gospel and of doing all that we do for the glory of God. But of course, I still have a lot to learn about doing motherhood God's way and about finding the balance even in how I speak about motherhood, in sharing the good, but also being realistic when I talk to other mothers and future mothers. But I hope you will hit subscribe and stick around as I continue to talk about all things motherhood. Leave me a comment down below and let me know your motherhood story. Is it something that you always thought you would do? Did your desire to be a mom shock you? Do you view it the way I do, through this lens of the gospel, or in a different way? I would love to hear from you. So thank you for watching.